Breaking news has just been confirmed at the Falcons. I'll give you the lowdown on everything that's been going on behind the scenes. But before we dive into today's breaking news, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. You won't want to miss any of the latest updates as the Falcons gear up for the 2025 season. Trust me, there's a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. With Super Bowl 59 officially over, all eyes are now on the offseason, and the Atlanta Falcons have wasted no time making moves. One of the more unexpected signings? Former Houston Texans offensive lineman Killian Zierer. Now, this may not be the big move some fans were hoping for, but trust me, this is the kind of low-key signing that can pay off big. Zierer, a 24-year-old tackle, spent last season with the Texans after going undrafted out of Auburn. However, Houston did not offer him a reserve/futures deal after his playoff run, giving Atlanta the perfect opportunity to sign him. And that's exactly what they did. The Falcons officially announced the signing, adding him to the growing list of 18 players who will compete for a spot on the 2025 roster. Now, what makes Zierer so intriguing? First, he has size 6 feet 4 inches and 315 pounds. That's the kind of frame you want to protect your quarterback. But beyond that, his journey to the NFL is one of the most unique you'll find. Originally from Munich, Germany, he was selected in the second round of the 2023 CFL Global Draft by the Edmonton Elks. He never played a snap in the CFL, choosing to take his chances in the NFL. At Auburn, he started 16 games in 2 seasons, showcasing his athleticism and massive 83-inch wingspan. Scouts have praised his ability to redirect edge rushers, but there are concerns about his flexibility and power in the run game. That's where the Falcons coaching staff comes in. If they can help him develop those aspects of his game, Zierer could be a legitimate depth piece for this offensive line. And let's be real, depth is something this team desperately needs. If we learned anything from the Super Bowl, it's that having a deep, reliable offensive line can be the difference between winning and losing. Injuries happen, and teams that can field capable backups without missing a beat are the ones that make deep playoff runs. For Falcons general manager Terry Fontenot, this is a classic low-risk, high-reward signing. If Zierer impresses in training camp, he could find himself in contention for a backup role or a spot on the practice squad. And if not, well, it costs the Falcons almost nothing to give him a shot. So, what do you think, Falcons fans? Do you see Killian Zierer as a potential hidden gem, or is this just another camp body? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. The Falcons are wasting no time preparing for the 2025 NFL Draft, and it looks like they've already begun scouting potential playmakers for the defense. According to Justin Mello from the Draft Network, the Falcons were among 13 teams to meet with Ole Miss linebacker Chris Paul Jr. at the Shrine Bowl. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to this guy, let me tell you, he's one of the more exciting linebacker prospects in this year's class. Paul Jr. is coming off an impressive 2024 season, racking up 86 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and even an interception. He's currently ranked number 65 on Pro Football Focus Big Board and finished last season with an outstanding 87.2 PFF grade. Those are the kind of numbers that suggest he could be a real difference maker in the NFL. For the Falcons, this meeting makes a lot of sense. They have several key defensive players hitting free agency, including Nate Landman and Lorenzo Carter. Adding a young, dynamic linebacker like Paul could help solidify the middle of the defense while bringing some much-needed versatility. But the Falcons' offseason plans don't stop there. In a recent mock draft from ESPN's Field Yates, Atlanta is projected to use the number 15 overall pick on Marshall edge Mike Green. If that happens, it would be another clear signal that fixing the pass rush is a top priority this offseason. And let's be honest, Falcons fans, we all know that's been an issue for far too long. Now, speaking of pass rushers, there's another interesting rumor heating up. According to USA Today's Corey Woodruff, the Falcons could be in the mix to acquire Philadelphia Eagles edge rusher Bryce Huff in an offseason trade. Huff is coming off a Super Bowl winning season with the Eagles, but things didn't exactly go as planned for him in Philly. He signed a 3-year, $51 million deal last offseason, but injuries limited him to just 12 regular season games, where he posted 2.5 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and 4 quarterback hits. What makes this even more intriguing is Huff's connection to new Falcons defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich. Falcons fans might remember that Huff had the best season of his career under Ulbrich when they were both with the Jets in 2023. That year, Huff racked up 10 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, and 21 quarterback hits. So, the idea of bringing him to Atlanta and putting him back in a system where he thrived? Yeah, that could be a game changer. Of course, the big question is, what would the Falcons have to give up to get him? Woodruff didn't speculate on trade compensation, but Bleacher Report's Maurice Moton recently suggested that Atlanta could land Huff for a couple of day 3 draft picks. That's an interesting proposition, especially considering the Falcons don't have a ton of draft capital this year. They already sent their 2025 third-round pick to the Patriots last August in the Matthew Judon trade, one that, let's be honest, didn't really pan out. But Huff could be a different story. He's only 26 years old, 5 years younger than Judon, and his 2025 cap hit is just $7.5 million. The Falcons don't have a ton of cap space, but that's a manageable number, and his contract does have some flexibility moving forward. The bottom line here? The Falcons have options. If they want to fix their pass rush through the draft, they could take a guy like Mike Green at number 15. But if they want to add a proven veteran presence without giving up too much, Huff could be a perfect fit. So, what do you think, Falcons fans? Should Atlanta go after Bryce Huff, or should they focus on adding a young pass rusher in the draft? And what are your thoughts on Chris Paul Jr. as a potential linebacker target? Drop your opinions in the comments. So, here's the deal. The Atlanta Falcons have spent the last few years focused on drafting offensive playmakers Michael Penix Jr., Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. Now, don't get me wrong, those are all elite talents. But do you notice something missing? None of them played for the University of Georgia. Why does that matter? Well, let's look at the Philadelphia Eagles. They've made it a priority to draft top Georgia defensive players, and guess what? It just helped them win Super Bowl 59. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith Jr., and Jordan Davis, these guys were absolute game changers on defense. Now, here's where it stings, Falcons fans. Atlanta had the chance to draft Jalen Carter in 2023. Instead, they passed on him at number 8 to take Bijan Robinson, and the Eagles scooped Carter up at number 9. And what did Carter do? He dominated as a rookie and played a key role in the Eagles' championship run. Before the Super Bowl, Georgia legend and Hall of Famer Champ Bailey even called out the Falcons for ignoring their own backyard. On This Is Football with Kevin Clark, Bailey said, "It's unfortunate the hometown Falcons haven't gotten on board with this." He pointed out that Kirby Smart has built Georgia into a defensive powerhouse, consistently producing elite defensive linemen. And yet, the Falcons continue to look elsewhere. The harsh reality? Atlanta's defensive line struggled this season, and they could have used players like Carter, Smith, or Davis. Meanwhile, the Eagles built a dominant front by prioritizing Georgia defenders. The proof is in the results, a Super Bowl ring. So, here's the question. Why aren't the Falcons making the University of Georgia their personal pipeline? If there's elite talent being produced right in your own state, why let other teams, especially the Eagles, take advantage? The good news is that the Falcons already have their franchise quarterback and offensive weapons in place. So maybe, just maybe, 2025 will be the year they finally look toward Athens and bring a Georgia Bulldog to Atlanta. What do you think, Falcons fans? Should the team start prioritizing Georgia players in the draft? Or do you think they're making the right choices? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Falcons news all off-season long. Go Falcons!